Earth, our home, incubator of life, through our lines of life.
Hi there, this is Luminousz Star. Welcome to my channel. For you guys and gals who are current subscribers, you are my stars. Thank you so much for keeping me motivated and keeping my channel active. If this is your first time, thank you for joining me today or tonight, wherever you may be. And I hope you should come back and visit me again. To everyone who's watching, I wish you the absolute best. This is about key components of complying with the games of narcissists. For the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. For my stars who have been with me for quite a while, you already know what to do. Check the description box below for further details. All right. Point number 1. Enmeshment is an individual who is having an identity crisis due to not knowing who he or she is and having a poor sense of self. A person who is enmeshed with others usually have difficulty determining that their identity or person is unique from others and vice versa. Pause. Okay. Make sure I have my water close by. All right. Now, enmeshment is actually a person who is not only having an identity crisis, but somebody who does not have a strong sense of his or herself. Therefore, they have a hard time determining that people are all unique. You know, there are certain things about us that are the same, but yet there are some things about us, such as our essence, that makes us unique from others. All right, so a person who is enmeshed with others, that means that they have a hard time not only having a strong sense of self, but they're having like an identity crisis because they really don't know who they really are. Okay, so continuing on. The cluster B personality and narcissists would project their unpleasant characteristics onto others. Usually he or she would have a false image, okay, so that they present to the world. The narcissist lacks the sincere desire to find out who others truly are. Therefore, when he or she tells those who may be enmeshed with them who they think they are, unfortunately, the targeted prey more than likely will agree. Pause. All right, again, still on the first point. Basically, when the narcissist is scoping out others, you know, when they're on the prowl for source supply and the other people that they are receiving supply from, more than likely those individuals are enmeshed with the narcissist or the cluster B personality. So when the narcissist or the cluster B personality begins to project their undesirable characteristics onto others, such as being dishonest, they will tell others around him or her that they are deceivers or they are dishonest. Okay, so the narcissist is pretty much projecting their unpleasant characteristics onto others. Okay, so the person who is enmeshed, he or she doesn't know who they really are. They don't have a strong sense of themselves. Unfortunately, they are going to agree that they are dishonest, even though they probably will not be. I mean, you know, I'm not saying anybody's perfect, but I think you guys and gals get the picture. Basically, the narcissist, all of their unpleasant characteristics, they project onto others. And for people who are enmeshed with narcissists, more than likely because he or she don't have a strong sense of self, they doesn't, you know, it's like, well, I'm just going to believe what they say. I'm selfish, or I'm a deceiver, or there's something wrong with me. Okay, so narcissists, they do this a lot. And unfortunately, individuals who are enmeshed with him or her, you know, they're going to go ahead and agree with the narcissist, even though the narcissist is only projecting. All right. Of course, they're projecting for sources of supply or fuel. All right, next point. Those who have a cluster B personality usually like to cause conflicts, drama, and arguments with others for sources of supply, fuel, and control in the relationship or in the unhealthy relationship. Going back and forth and cat and mouse games, tit for tat, and reactionary responses are what ensures that others will continue to comply with the narcissist in his or her sick games for source supply. Okay, the cluster B personality and the narcissist cannot receive any supply from others if he or she critically thinks and knows how to place their own egos aside. Okay, pause. I'm just going to say something about that very quickly. Okay, now the narcissist and the cluster B personality, one of the reasons why they like to goad people into arguments is because they would like those individuals to continue to be reactionary or into their emotions instead of critically thinking. See, once a person starts to critically think instead of being all in their feelings and being all in their egos, then the narcissist loses. All right. So the narcissist, they like to keep people, reactionary, or influence them to be reactionary and keep them in their feelings, in their egos, because this way they can continue to supply. All right. And also the individual is continuing to comply with the sick games that the narcissist plays. All right. So I'm going to continue now. Practicing self-control, emotional discipline, and critical thinking can prove to become a game changer. All right. Next point. Continuing to be emotionally invested will ensure compliance with the cluster B personality and narcissist. Desiring validation, apologies, respect, love, approval, or peace from the narcissist and cluster B personality will keep one stuck, stagnant, and in compliance with the narcissist. Hoping and believing that the narcissist or the cluster B personality will somehow change is wasted time and energy. He or she will usually use others' sincerity and compassion to give them another chance against others, okay, in order to continue to obtain sources of supply. Pause. So basically here, what's happening is that the narcissist and the cluster B personality, see, they use other people's sincerity and their compassion to give them another chance. All right, because see, the narcissist knows that he or she is a mess, right? There's something else to deal with. Okay, all of the drama, all the chaos, all the shenanigans in order to get sources of supply. See, the narcissists, they know that they're not doing right in the relationship, or they have an inkling. So what they do is they use other people's compassion and sincerity against them in order to continue to have sources of supply. All right, so moving on. Once a person begins to critically think instead of being emotional and reactionary, whereas it pertains to the narcissist, he or she can see clearly that the cluster B personality is not being genuine. Okay, it's game over for the narcissist and a game changer for those who are being narcissistically abused in the relationship. Okay, so again, as I was stating, it can prove to be a game changer once a person begins to critically think instead of being reactionary, whereas the narcissist is on to the critical questions. All right, first critical question. How can the cluster B personality tell you who you are when they do not know who they are? Okay, pause. Basically, because the cluster B personality presents a false self to the world. Okay, so they don't really know who they are. They're too busy trying to keep their false self-image up to par. So they don't know who they are. So how can they tell you who you are? Okay, second question. What is the purpose of arguing with the narcissist and the cluster B personality when he or she likes to influence you to become reactionary? Okay, do you like how you feel after or during an argument? Does the narcissist change their actions after arguing? Pause. Basically, this is pretty self-explanatory. The narcissist likes to goad people into the argument. Okay, so what purpose does that serve? And what do you really get out of it? Okay, do you like how you feel after the argument is over? During the argument? Okay, so does the narcissist even change their ways afterwards? After the argument is over, do they come back to you and say, you know what, I thought about it, and you know what, you're right. You're absolutely right. I've been a butthole lately. I've been behaving like a butthole lately. And I probably should have, I probably could have handled that situation a little bit differently. See, a narcissist, you will never hear that from a narcissist or a cluster B personality. Okay, and usually a lot of us don't feel very good after or during the argument. Okay, and not only that, but most of us don't really, you know, when we're having that relationship with the narcissist and cluster B personality, rarely do we really stop to think about it. And I'm not scolding anyone. I've done this too in the past. Rarely, while we're right in the thick of it, right in the middle of a relationship with a narcissist, rarely do we really stop to think about the purpose of the relationship with the narcissist. Okay, and not only that, we don't really think about the purpose of the arguing. Most of the time we forget what we were arguing about. Okay, so what purpose does it really serve to even allow that person to goad you into an argument when you know the narcissist, more than likely, they're not going to change. They're not going to see anybody's point of view other than their own. The main objective for the narcissist when they goad you into an argument is for fuel, control, and source of supply.
Earth, our home, incubator of life. Through our lines of life.
How do you benefit from being involved in the relationship with the cluster B personality or a narcissist? How does a narcissist benefit from having a relationship with you? Okay, because a lot of us really don't think about that. What is the narcissist really getting out of having a relationship with us? I'm talking about when we are right in the middle of that relationship. We really don't think about that. Okay, because the narcissist, I could tell you what they're getting. They're getting source supply. Okay, and not to be sarcastic. I'm not trying to sound sarcastic or even be sarcastic. But the bottom line is the narcissist, that's exactly what they're getting out of being in a relationship with the rest of us. Okay, they are getting source supply. They are getting fuel in a sense of control. Okay, and they're also getting that sense of that their false self-image is intact. So how do you benefit from having a relationship with a narcissist or the cluster B personality? What are you really getting out of the relationship other than headaches? Okay, other than nightmares, trauma, and all sorts of health issues. Okay, stress. That's what you're getting out of it, more than likely. I know I did. Okay. Tools. First tool. Discontinue emotionally investing in the unhealthy relationship with others. That includes the narcissist or cluster B personality. Just discontinue emotionally investing. And yes, that will take some time. That will take some steps. It is a process. It's not going to happen overnight. But I want to encourage you today to continue or basically discontinue emotionally investing in an unhealthy relationship. However, do continue to embrace yourself. Be there for yourself emotionally. Okay? And it is a process. It will take some time. But I want to encourage you all to start today. Second tool, invest in you for a change and find out your true identity. Pause. Some of us lose our sense of self while engaged or involved or having an unhealthy relationship with the cluster B personality. Okay, a lot of us have that experience. We lose a sense of ourselves. Third and final tool, practice critical thinking instead of becoming reactionary when the narcissist or cluster B personality attempts to influence you to argue with him or her for fuel. Okay, so that kind of goes right into some of the comments I made earlier. The narcissist, one of the things they like to do when they goad people into an argument is they want them to be reactionary. They do not want you to critically think about what's really going on in the relationship, which is a lot of shenanigans. Okay, so the cluster B personality, they don't like it when you critically think because it's game over for them and it's a game changer for you once you start to critically think instead of being reactionary. Recapping all three components that are signs that you comply with the cluster B personality and the narcissist. Key component number 1, enmeshment. Key component number 2, arguing. Key component number 3, and the final key component, is being emotionally invested with the narcissist in the cluster B personality. See, all three of those key components, the cluster B personality, they will continue to be able to have source supply from you. Well, because for one thing, you are complying with him or her. Okay? So when one person, for instance, the first key component, when there's enmeshment, when you are enmeshed with the cluster B personality and the narcissist or the narcissist, what's going on is that in the relationship, the cluster B personality is telling you who you are, and you don't know who you are. But here's the thing, and here's the irony. Neither does the cluster B personality. They don't know who they are. So the rhetorical question is, how can they tell you who you are when they don't even know who they are? When they get up in the morning or whenever they get up, okay, and they go out into the world, they present a false image. So how can that person tell you who you are? They're not even living authentically. They are not even sincere about who they are and when they interact with people, when they go out into the world. So how can they tell you who you are? Newsflash, they don't know who you are. And you know what? They really don't care. At the end of the day, the cluster B personality, their main objective, again, the cluster B personality and or the narcissist, their main objective is source supply by any means necessary. So that means you and others are at an expense. You are an expense. That's it. Okay? So, I mean, I kind of hate to put it that way, but a lot of us who have dealt with cluster B personality and narcissists, we know this is true. We have come to learn this. So, enmeshment, that means that you comply. You are in agreement with the narcissist and the cluster B personality. Even if you feel sadness and you feel some anger when they start, arguing with you, which is the second key component. So when they start insulting you, whether it's blatantly or in a subtle manner, they're insulting you. They're insulting your intelligence. They may be belittling you, okay? All of those things. And they're telling you who they think you are, which is false. They don't really know who you are. All you are is a means to an end to get source supply. So they don't know who you are. They're not, the cluster B personality is not trying to find out who you are. And to even make a stronger case, the cluster B personality, when they present themselves to the world, he or she is presenting a false image. So they're living a lie. A person who tells lies compulsively and they live a lie and they are obsessed and addicted to presenting a false image out to the world, what do you get when you wrap all that up? A person who don't know diddly squat about who you really are. That's what you get. A person, they don't know who they are. They don't know who you are. And you know what? Since we're talking about the cluster B personality, they're not interested in finding out who you are. So that's key component number one, is enmeshment. That ensures that you will continue to comply with the narcissist or the cluster B personality. Key component number two, arguing. So all those arguments that occur with the cluster B personality, a lot of those are set up to happen. They don't just happen. They're set up to happen, because as long as you are arguing or you are permitting yourself to be goaded into an argument with the cluster B personality, the cluster B personality and the narcissist, they get to feed. They are supplied. Okay? So they're happy, figuratively speaking. All right? So they're getting fed. All right? So as long as you're arguing and you are permitting yourself to be goaded into an argument, the narcissist is having his or her way with you. Therefore, you are complying. They can't have their way with you if you don't comply. So the second key component to complying with the narcissist is allowing yourself to be goaded into an argument. And voila, you're engaged in the arguments. Okay? Third and final key component is being emotionally invested in a relationship with the narcissist or the cluster B personality. All right? If you're not emotionally invested, okay, more than likely, you are doing more critical thinking when things begin to happen in the relationship, like all the chaos, all the drama, all the emotional manipulation, all the shenanigans, and the terrible and abusive tactics that the cluster B personality has up his or her sleeve, ready to juggle at any moment. Okay, so when all of that starts, you start to critically think, and you're not all in your emotions, because you're looking at how things are unfolding, and you're looking at all the shenanigans from the cluster B personality and how they orchestrate it all. Okay, they're the big Oz, or actually the little small Oz behind the curtain. Okay, so when all of the things start happening in the relationship with the cluster B personality, as I stated, all the arguments, okay, all the emotional manipulations, all the abusive tactics that he or she will do in order to get that source supply, right? When all that stuff start happening, you won't get all into your feelings. You won't run away with your feelings and your emotions. You won't be all in your feelings, okay? And you'll be able to tell your ego to get in the passenger seat, because your ego many times have been in the driver's seat. And that's how the narcissist liked it, by the way. You may not think so, but yeah, he or she liked it when you were not being able to exercise self-discipline. Because see, a narcissist and a cluster B personality, they absolutely prefer when we are in our feelings and we are not able to control ourselves enough to set our egos aside and critically think about all their shenanigans in order to get supplies from us. I hope that makes sense, because it took me a little while to absolutely get that, but once I did get it, it was a game changer. You guys know I like to say that, game changer. That was absolutely a game changer for me, and it was a game over for the narcissist. Lack the self-control and lack the self-discipline to put your ego to the side and critically think when it comes to the narcissist wins, okay? Because they get to eat. Because they know you can't. When we comply with the narcissist and the cluster B personality, it is a losing game. Simply because as long as we are emotionally invested, okay, we are emotionally invested. And when we do that, the narcissist and the cluster B personality, well, they think that we want something from them. And you know what? They're absolutely correct. Okay, so the third and final key component is being emotionally invested. Okay, so as long as that person or you are emotionally invested with the narcissist, they can continue on with the shenanigans. Okay, because you're going to comply, because you're simply hoping and wishing that he or she will wake up and treat you better, because you still desire the relationship with them. One of the things that I found out is that when it came to closure and when it came to validation, I never needed the narcissist or the cluster B personality. I never needed them. I only desired them. Big difference. Okay? So as soon as I faced myself and I realized that, I was like, wow, okay? I never needed the narcissist or the cluster B personality for validation or closure and all the things that went wrong, or all the abusive behavior in the relationship that I had with him or her. Okay, I didn't need them to corroborate with me in order to obtain the closure. I didn't need that, but I absolutely for quite some time thought I did. Okay, so I just want to share that with you all today. All right, you know, you really don't need them. Think about it. Do you really need them, or do you just desire? Do you desire the cluster B personality? Do you desire the narcissist, whomever he or she may be in your life? Do you desire them to treat you better? And do you absolutely need them to treat you better in order to have a great life? Do you need them, or do you desire them? Huge difference. Thank you all for watching. And until next time, please take care of yourself and stay tuned for more videos.
Earth. home, incubator of life. Through our lines of life.